orgy of malpractice and murder.
It seems like that's what it is, so.
It's a good way to describe what's going on here.
Healthcare horrors. Murder.
We're a week away from Christmas.
Yay!
It's my favorite holiday.
Is it?
Yeah, Christmas.
I just like the lights and the colors.
I do. It's cozy.
No, you
It's
know
so
what?
cozy.
Actually, I think my favorite holiday is...
You can't take it back. No, it's too late.
Okay.
No take back, please.
Okay.
I'm sorry. What is it?
It's 4th of July, but not for the reasons you would think.
Explain.
Okay, so every year for the 4th of July, we go back to my wife's hometown, which is a town of like 300 people. And their 4th of July celebration is like...
But it's a wild
parade. It is. Mm-hmm. It's like a parade in the morning, and then we go to a demolition derby.
Ooh.
I knew it was wild, guys.
And then there's mud volleyball tournaments.
I'm in.
Yeah, and then after we go up to my father-in-law's house, and he's always got steaks grilling, and then we end with fireworks, of course. But
this is like the dream day.
Every year I look forward to it because it's so much fun.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we got to get through the holidays first before we can get back into summer.
I still love Christmas. I mean, Christmas starts on July 5th for me.
Bullshit. We got to get through Halloween first.
Well, I was going to say, and your costume was pretty legit.
It was a good one. All right. So, yes, Healthcare Horrors. We're on episode 9.
Are we really already?
Yeah.
This is flying by.
Episode 9. I'm Ashlee, a brand specialist here at Atlas.
I am Alicia Carosella, your veteran recruiter.
And I'm Dolan, also a brand specialist. But today, I'm just on the knobs.
Just our knob guy.
Liar. All right. So we're staying overseas. So in our last episode, we talked about Nurse Daniela Poggiali, kind of a crazy story that we want to follow up on because she potentially killed 90-some people, and she's been released recently, well, a few months ago. So, yeah, we're going to follow up on this.
I'm still mind blown by it.
Yeah.
Come on. The facts have to be existent somewhere.
The facts are non-existent, Nolan.
The limit does not exist.
I love it here.
It was a callback. It was like a callback from 2 weeks ago.
We have a lot of callbacks. Dunch, dunch, dunch. The limit does not exist.
2 weeks ago. Where's the time gone? Okay, so now we are going to Poland.
And quick note, this one was another one that was really hard to find any background information on. So Ashlee is going to tell me a story, and I'm just going to be completely surprised by everything she says.
I'm pretty stoked to tell you about this messed up situation. But first, so in the story we're going to talk about, there are 2 paramedics and 2 doctors involved. But before we get into them, there wasn't much history on them, and pronouncing their names is going to be a little wild.
Please be forgiving of Ashlee.
But first, so the term skin hunters was coined by the media, and there are actually a lot more skin hunters out there than the 4 gentlemen we are going to talk about. It's kind of crazy. So if you want someone's business, you think you would earn it, or in this case, they want the highest bid for it. Let's see. I wrote so many stupid things in my notes.
No, it's okay. Tell them to us.
I'm gonna read it. Skin hunters was the name, and making money was their game.
Oh my God, you're right.
Nice.
Oh gosh.
Nerd alert.
Yep, nerd. So once a Polish ambulance crew found out that there's money to be made with dead patients versus living patients, their life-saving efforts go right out the window. So this means that skin hunters, instead of picking up sick or dying patients and going straight to the hospital, they would take detours so that they would hopefully be pronounced dead on arrival. If there were emergency doctors in the ambulance, the doctors would fail to resuscitate them or withhold medication, you know, whatever they could do to help them pass on. And so once the patient did die, they would basically bribe funeral homes for their business. Like, hey, you want this family's business? This person just died. You know, what are you going to give us for it? And if you're not going to give us enough money, we're going to go to the other funeral home down the street.
So they're just shopping dead bodies around.
Yeah, it's so messed up, you guys. I know, you can't trust anybody. And I was kind of looking at currency. So some of the bribes, and I think this is more, well, I guess this case we're going to talk about, it's kind of recent. Well, 2007 is not super recent.
It feels like yesterday to me, so we're just going to roll with that.
All right. So I was looking at currency, and so the bribes ranged from 12,000 to 70,000 zloty, which is the Polish currency. And the current US dollar to zloty ratio is, so 1 zloty is 24 cents here.
Okay.
I'm going to let you do the rest of the math because I don't like math.
So 4 zlotys are almost $1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So yeah, skin hunters, it's a thing. It's a trade of sorts, which is so messed up. There's a lot of alleged cases of this. In 1995, in Lodz, Poland, which I don't know if I ever want to go there because it sounds like this is where a lot of this stuff is happening. In Lodz, Poland, the police are tipped off about a bold group of skin hunters. However, the case goes cold after they arrest the ringleader. I was not given a name. They arrest him without any evidence, and he is released after a month because he pleads not guilty. There's no evidence. You know, they can't keep holding him. And then you kind of wonder, maybe this was purposely not handled well by the police. So maybe you can't trust them.
I mean, hey, the doctors are in on it, and that seems to be just fine. So you never know.
Yeah, maybe they're paying off the police too.
Well, so I did the math, and so like at the top, 70,000 zloty translates to like $17,000 US money. So they're getting paid big money per body that they sell.
Wow.
So there's enough money to go around for everybody, including the cops, if they are, in fact, taking a cut.
Dang. So yeah, that case goes cold. In 2002, authorities finally take action again when there is an article released in Poland's largest newspaper called the Gazeta Wyborcza. Not sure on the pronunciation.
Something. It's the Wyborcza Gazette. You're doing great.
Cool. Thank you.
You're doing great.
So yeah, that's the largest newspaper. The article exposes a lot of details on the skin hunting trade, primarily in Lodz, Poland. And the public is outraged by this, that this has been going on for a long time, and the police clearly aren't doing anything about it. But then again, I don't know, it sounds like it's kind of hard to get proof. So hundreds of healthcare workers are involved in this line I kind of felt was humorous. Orgy of malpractice and murder.
It seems like that's what it is, so.
It's a good way to describe what's going on here.
So do any of the families, I guess, I know I should let you tell me the story, but do any of the families catch on? Like, is nobody thinking it's weird that the paramedics are the ones determining where these bodies go? Because don't you think, like, as, you know, think about your family members, wouldn't you think, like, they would, A, either have a funeral home picked out, or B, you would have an idea of, like, a company you would want to use?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's what I was thinking, too, is, like, okay, so who's notifying the family that someone has passed away? Is, like, the funeral home jumping the gun and notifying the family first before the hospital? You know,
maybe it works different in Poland. I mean, I guess it could be a cultural difference. Maybe you just get assigned a funeral home.
Maybe I was gonna say maybe the funeral industry in general is just connected.
If anybody knows, feel free to let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Curious.
Also, this is kind of messed up. So sometimes these bribes were billed to the families of the deceased as additional funeral charges. So basically, the families are paying for their loved ones to be murdered in the end.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's
a lot
stressful.
to take in.
Very stressful. As if, yeah. All right.
Wow.
Whew. Back to the orgy of malpractice and murder. It's just funny. It's a good way to describe it.
This is a healthcare horrors podcast. This is not about orgies, Ashlee.
Okay. Sorry. Focus. Focus on the murder. Okay. Police decide to focus on one particular crew, ambulance crew they start to kind of hone in on. So the two paramedics, here we go with the names, Anze Nawishin and Carol Benays, are the two paramedics. And I saw a different way to like spell or pronounce his last name. It's kind of weird, like different sources had different things. And then the two doctors, Janusz Kolinsky and Paweł Wasilewski.
Ooh, you did good.
Yeah.
You did so good. I'm looking at the names on my screen. You did so good.
Awesome. So those four, if you want to try and come up with nicknames, go for it. But Janusz is kind of fun to say. So those are the four we're going to focus on here. Like I already said, evidence is kind of hard to come by. Of course, the most common drug used in the skin hunting game looks like it's a muscle relaxer called Pavilon. And Pavilon is commonly used to stop a patient's breathing when they're put on a ventilator. So if they're not put on a ventilator, they're going to suffocate because their lungs won't function. So it's kind of a terrible way to go. And so you guessed it, it's difficult to trace in the body, like everything else. So these two, I'm assuming they're followed and they are eventually brought in for questioning. You know, there's probably an investigation. There's a good chance that these four would have gotten away with it if the two paramedics didn't confess. They actually confessed to what they were doing, and they ratted out the two doctors.
So were the doctors, they were just helping them through the facility, like through the hospital. They weren't actually in the ambulance.
I think they were in the ambulance.
Oh, really?
So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, so I've never been in an ambulance, but it sounds like they have like an emergency doctor in an ambulance too. So yeah, two paramedics, two doctors, they were a team and they could have gotten away with it. Again, my brain goes to Scooby-Doo, and I think if it weren't for you meddling kids and your dumb dog.
There you go.
Nerd. Okay, so after killing patients in the ambulance, they, like we said, they would sell their information to competing funeral homes. The bribes were billed to the families in some cases. We already kind of talked about the money. So they confessed to doing all this. And finally, in 2007, they are sentenced. Paramedic Anze gets life in prison for killing 4 people. I don't know if they killed more. It wasn't a crazy amount, though. But later confessed to his prison mate that he may have killed 50 people. But he's charged for 4. The other paramedic, Carol, is given 25 years in prison for murder, which I don't understand. Like, how does he not just get life in prison? So that's kind of unclear to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. When I'm reading it says he's got the 25 years imprisonment for the particularly cruel murder of one of the patients.
Yeah.
Ludmila S.
It's like, so you only killed one person, we'll give you 25 years, but you killed 4, so you're getting life. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of strange. And then, so the doctor, Janusz, he got 6 years in prison and is banned from practicing medicine for 10 years.
I think you should be banned from practicing medicine for life.
Yeah. It's like a slap on the wrist. Like, you're still helping to kill people.
Is it like...
Or you are killing people.
My question is it 6 years of prison and then 10 years? Or is it like 6 years and 10 years, so really you're only banned for 4 years once you're released from prison.
I was wondering that too. I'm not really sure. It wasn't made clear enough, but yeah, my brain went there too. The other doctor basically given the same sentence. Dr. Powell, he was given 5 years in prison and also banned for 10 years practicing medicine.
And their charges were just for endangering patients. Mm-hmm. They don't actually get charged with murder at all.
But here, like, if you are an accomplice to murder, I guess I don't know if you would get life, but I feel like you would get more than 6 years. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I would assume.
You would assume, for sure.
So it makes me kind of wonder what the doctor's actual roles were.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because they just got endangering. Maybe it's just one of those things where, like, you're the higher ranking, so you get, like, less. You're in less trouble because, you know.
Yeah, like, who is giving the shots of Pavilon, or who's driving and taking detours, you know. So since this case that was in 2007, and it's probably more now, but the district prosecutor's office in Lodz, Poland eventually examined over 800 skin hunting cases without making a single arrest, probably because they don't have evidence of it.
What?
800 cases.
So this is like just like a known thing.
Yeah.
That's happening.
It's a thing in Poland, so it kind of makes me not want to go to Poland. Maybe it's happening here.
Oh, because, you know, too? Man, what if you get sick and you got to go in an ambulance?
Yeah.
You decline. Ow. Just leave me here at home.
Ow. In 2010, investigations on skin hunters was discontinued. And that's really it. Like, they just kind of like, well, okay, we're not making any progress here, so let's just stop.
What? If you have 800 cases open, there's got to be some way. Like, and maybe the laws in Poland don't allow for them to capture this evidence or to obtain whatever it is they need to charge them. But I would think there's got to be a way.
Yeah. And I don't know if there are any other cases out there like this one where people were skin hunting and get caught.
So there's a case much like this here in the United States, but I mean, they weren't selling the bodies to, they weren't like paramedics or anything, and they weren't selling bodies to funeral homes, but it was a group of people who were killing people who would come to their inn or their bed and breakfast, and then they would sell them to, not going to name the university, a prominent university for medical research. And so then these doctors and professors were buying these bodies from these people, so they made a business out of it. So if this theme happened here in the United States as well.
I mean, and that's been going on for a long time too, like in H.H. Holmes and stuff. When you read about him, like, he and one of his professors liked digging up dead bodies to use as cadavers to do experiments on in college and stuff. But that's a recent thing. That is so sick.
So I was curious on, like, how...
What you got?
Yeah, on how, like, they were talking these morgues into buying these bodies, or how that works. So, yeah, in Poland, most of the funeral is paid for by the state or the government. And you need a doctor present to pronounce the body dead. And then once it's pronounced, that they can receive a death certificate within 2 hours, or 2 hours after the body, or after the person dies and pronounced dead. They can receive a death certificate from their local government. And then there's, like, only a couple funeral industries that you can choose from. So I'm wondering if they have, and I'm reading it, and they're all state funded as well. So it's probably,
the plot thickens.
It's probably just like based on number of bodies. I don't know. Because there's another article out there saying, like, less people are dying in Poland and there's not a lot of money in the industry and we don't know what to do.
We need more people to die.
We need more people to die. Yeah. So,
oh, wow. That's interesting.
I'm assuming they were just, maybe they were low and they needed money from the state, and
the system was set up for failure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
it's people.
In the book, it even kind of mentions that police are sloppy with the cases, and, you know, maybe that's why everyone's in on it.
Yeah.
Well, what's the incentive to not be sloppy?
Well, if you want more free money from your government, I guess that's a way to do it there in Poland. I don't know. But it says in 2006, they reevaluated everything and they became part of some FIAT, big acronym for something. And so they're actually like now connected somehow to the funeral industries that started in London. So I'm not sure what that connection is.
Maybe it's some oversight.
But I'm thinking it's some sort of regulation of some sort. And it's weird that this happened, that this case was such a big case. And then the timing of their reevaluation is within a year.
I mean, at least they're attempting to make a change.
Yeah.
Dang, Poland.
So the state paid for the funerals, not the families, then maybe.
Yeah. Okay. And well, the families, I think I'm
sure they still paid something.
Yeah, there was something they paid, but overall, like,
the majority was paid for by the state.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you said the doctors just have to like be the ones to pronounce them dead. So maybe the two doctors in this case weren't on the ambulance, but they're like,
they're the ones
got
calling
another dead one.
Yep. Like they were the ones pronouncing, so they could get that death certificate, as fast as they can.
Okay.
That was a good snap.
Yeah.
That really was. It echoed a little.
Squirrel.
Yeah, messed up.
We can't stay on track here, guys. Well, dang, that was just the name Skin Hunters gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, it's a weird term.
I think I've just got a weird thing about skin ever since what's the Silence of the Lambs?
Puts lotion on the skin.
Yep, nope, can't do it.
I did think like this was going to be a lot more gruesome and weird by just
the name
Skin Hunters.
For sure.
Yeah, I think they could have come up with a different name for this.
Like the Body Snatchers.
I'm sure that name was already taken, actually. It's like a TV show, a movie, a book.
A movie, it's everything. But it would have made more sense, I think.
It really would have made more sense.
All right.
Well.
So next, I don't know, who do we want to talk about next?
Dolan, what was your idea?
Dr. Lazard.
Yeah.
Lazard.
The starvation doctor.
Starvation doctor.
I think we will look into that. That's our potential next episode for you guys.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Seems like it's pretty messed up. So.
Well, don't do anything that the Skin Hunters would do.
Yeah. Don't go to Poland. What?
Dr. Hazard.
Not Lazard.
Not Lazard.
Dr. Hazard.
Isn't there an L? Isn't it a
Linda,
female? Yeah,
Linda Hazard.
So you were just combining their names.
Yeah.
Dr. Lizard?
Dr. Lizard.
What's her name now?
Dr. Lazard. It's more fancy.
Yes.
All right. So yes, back to wrapping this thing up a little bit.
Don't do anything the Skin Hunters or their accomplices would do.
Like murder.
Murder.
Thank you for listening to Healthcare Horrors, brought to you by Atlas MedStaff. Just a reminder, we are not healthcare professionals. We are just fans of true crime, talking about some of history's darkest moments in healthcare. Stay tuned, stay healthy, and stay safe.